have such sights to show you. We'll tear your soul apart.
Oh my god! Oh! Are they not recording? Are you recording, Trickshot?
Alright, so today we're going to be looking at the Cheytac intervention and not the Modern Warfare 2 Cheytac intervention that we just saw. Nobody's going to be pulling no 360 no scopes with this. This is a DayZ gun, not a Call of Duty gun, so it's a little more realistic. This is actually a mod for DayZ, built off of a gun from the original game in Arma 2, so I'll leave a link to the mod itself in the description. This is the Cheytac intervention from Arma 2 port, and this is the actual mod page. And I'm just going to look at a couple of these here. Now, this has easily become one of my, actually this is my favorite gun. Unfortunately it is a mod, so it won't be on every server. It's not vanilla. I'm not going to tell you how to install a mod. You can figure that out on your own, or maybe if you'd like to learn how to install a mod, let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll do that in a later video. But for now, we're just going to be looking into this gun itself and see why it's my favorite gun for DayZ. Alright, so we're just going to real quick give a little bit of background history behind the Cheytac itself. So just to show you what we have, well, pull up the other one first. We have a black one. Game file has both of these. Black one and a tan one. So let's just read the description first off. The Cheytac intervention is an American bolt-action sniper rifle manufactured by Cheytac LLC, which can also be classified as an anti-material rifle. It is fed by a 7-round detachable single-stack magazine. It is specifically chambered in 408 Cheytac ammunition. And these are just the credits for the guy that ported it from the original Arma game. Now, what this gun is designed for, well, let's first talk about another type of ammunition. It's a 50 caliber, something along the lines of like a Barrett 50, designed to be an anti-material rifle. Problem with the 50 caliber is it's an extremely heavy bullet, and it loses its ballistic coefficient, velocity, and range a lot sooner than would be desired. So pretty much Cheytac came up with this, the 408 Cheytac, specifically for this type of a weapon system. And it was designed to kind of have the ballistics coefficient of a 50 cal, or really close to it, still maintaining its velocity, but more importantly, its range. This thing is one of the farthest reaching, most heavy hitting sniper systems ever made. And it was, a lot of it has to do specifically with the ammunition was made specifically for this purpose. That being said, this is also one of the more expensive sniper systems ever produced. It's designed to be used with a ballistics computer that Cheytac also sells. Now, the whole kit from Cheytac, you're looking in the neighborhood of around a $30,000 package. That's including the ballistics computer, no scope, no, well, it might come with a suppressor, I'm not sure, but it's basically just the gun, the magazine, and the computer is around a $30,000 package. So what it is doing in a post-apocalyptic scenario, in a DayZ scenario, is beyond me, but that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to pretty much showcase this thing. It is here, it's available, so we can just question the logistics of it some other time, but for now we're just going to have fun showcasing this. Alright, so let's now talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of this gun versus some of the other guns that are going to be primarily used for sniper rifles. So I've got the Tundra, Dragunov, SVD, whatever you want to call it, and the Mosin. Well, first things first is the scope. Can you see it? Where is it? Magazine, Daily Road. There it is. The scope for the intervention can only be used on 2 other guns, and that's going to be the Tundra And I don't have it up here, but also the Ruger 1022, the 22 rifle gun, which nobody uses anyway. Coincidentally, what that also means is, if you find it, the hunting scope will also work on the intervention. Unfortunately, with the hunting scope, you're not going to have the zeroing ability that you would with the Dragunov scope, or the intervention scope, which I'll explain how that works a little bit later. So, let's go ahead and put that back on here, and there we go. Alright, so one of the first things we want to talk about is its size. As far as slots are concerned, it does take up a big slot in a backpack. So it's going to be best to probably carry this on your back, which will lead to another problem that I'll show you shortly. But in my opinion, the problems that this thing is going to have is going to outweigh the benefits that this will have will outweigh the problems that it has. So it takes up big space in the backpack, and just comparison's sake, there's the Tundra, same with the Dragunov. The only other one that's comparably same size is going to be a Gauss. But if we look at the, well, before we do that, let's look at the weights of these things. So firstly, Dragunov is about 4 kilograms. Intervention, well, it's actually more when it's got a magazine in it, so we're going to put a mag in it. Intervention 6. Well, I guess it's not more. So Dragunov 4, intervention 6. Tundra 3, intervention 6. Mosin 4, intervention 6. So it is a heavy gun, but when you compare it to something like the Gauss, you're talking about a 14 kilogram gun, and I'm not even sure if that's, yep, that's fully loaded. So it's a big boy. It's a chunky chunk, but its damage coefficient, what it's capable of doing, the pure range of the thing, in my opinion, far outweighs the fact that it is a heavy gun, and it's nowhere near as heavy as a Gauss, so there's that as well. So one of the other big problems that it's going to have is your actual profile when you're wearing it on your back. Because it is a massive gun, let's go ahead and put it on our back. Now you can't really see it here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go into free camera, and there you go. And if you see, I basically have a giant antenna on my back, which kind of makes my profile stand out. Now, if we do this and take our scope off, and now we put it on, still have a pretty big profile, but it's not as bad. But that's going to be another downfall with it, is it makes you really visible if you're wearing it on your back. As far as damage is concerned, though, which we'll touch on shortly, though, it really can, none of the other sniper rifles can really compare to it, with the exception of the Gauss. But comparatively to the Gauss, you have 1 in the chamber, magazine of 7, and you're able to rapidly fire them. Gauss, where's my Gauss? Gauss, you have a magazine of 3 and a battery, which will limit how much you can actually put through it. So it's really not that. Gauss is more of a novelty thing. I would much rather take the intervention all day long over it. Although there is the profile factor. The Gauss is not quite as big as the intervention, but it's still pretty big. Okay, so there are a few other advantages and disadvantages we need to talk about as well. So first being the mag sizes. So let's go ahead and pull out the Dragunov mag size. We can use that to compare. The Tundra and the Mosin have internal mags, so we're not going to really compare those for this. But as you can see, the intervention has a massive magazine. Maximum capacity of 7, and Dragunov can hold 10, even though it's not a full mag. But the Gauss Again, not near as big, but same size as the Dragunov mag. It can only hold 3. So the Gauss, for as powerful as it is, it can only hold 3 in the magazine. So, unless you have multiple magazines, multiple ammos, you're gonna have a tough time carrying enough with this thing, as it is already a heavy gun. Next would be the ammunition size. That's the Gauss rounds. You can only stack them in 5s. So it's two slot, only stack in 5s. The intervention, 15 stack, and it takes up 1 slot. Dragunov ammo is going to be 20 in 1. Mosin's the same thing, and the Tundra is going to be the exact same thing as well, 20 in 1. So it definitely has a magazine capacity carrying wise that well exceeds the Gauss. Gauss has a smaller magazine, but it can't hold near as much anyway. And to be perfectly honest, if you're using the intervention, you're not really going to be carrying an extra magazine anyway. You're just going to have what's in the chamber and have it set to hotbar so you can reload without having to actually take it out, like remove it from inventory. So next is going to be the scopes themselves. The intervention scope is going to be the same size as the Tundra scope. So it's a 4 slot. And I believe Gauss is the same. Let me check. Yep, Gauss is also the same. The Dragunov scope is, I don't have one here, but it's a 2x3, I believe, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. So it takes up a larger amount in the inventory. And then the Mosin scope, well, the standard Mosin scope is a 3 slot, but it pretty much sucks anyway. So the intervention scope is much, much better than that regardless. So the only other thing that the intervention has a big disadvantage on is the suppressor size. As you can see, it's 2x3, so it is a rather large suppressor, but if you keep it on the gun, it's not that big a deal. Alright, so now we're going to try some ballistic testing, and the first thing we're going to do is, I've got a couple plate carriers set up down there. I have a standard and a Lantia plate carrier. So we're going to take a shot at these and see what they can do. First, these are standard. Oh, we got a storm coming. Alright, I don't know if you all can hear that, but the storm is coming right now. And you can see the standard carrier is ruined. I can't even use it at this point. And I missed that one. Let's try that one again. Am I like completely missing this? Yeah, let's try it. There we go. Up close. And it really isn't going to make a difference how far away it is, but in any case, one shot kills a Lantia plate as well. And just to show you that I wasn't hitting it before, we'll spawn in another one and shoot that one real quick. So, let's see here. Find it quick. In there, module. There we go. Yep, there we go. Brand new. See? And it is ruined. So it will one-shot a Lantia plate. Now, I can tell you it's also going to shoot through a plate and insta-kill a person too, but just for the sake of showing what this thing is actually capable of doing, we got a couple other tests we're going to do, but first I will need to reload my mag. Okay, now I already did this earlier, but we're going to spawn in a bear. Is this one? Yes. Alright, so this should be a normal bear. There we go. One shot. Now let's spawn in polar bear. Also one shot. So I mean, you can see it's pretty powerful gun. It's going to one shot both of the bears, but we're going to take this one step farther. There is another creature. Most of you probably haven't seen this. This is the going to be the bloodsucker from the original mod, the Mouse Crisis mod for Arma 2. So we are going to first test this with a bunch of. We're going to dump a bunch of AK ammo into it, just so you can see how powerful these creatures are. First off, so let's go ahead and get one spawned in first. What do they call it? Oh, if I could type, that would be great. Mutant, and they are these guys here. There he is. This is a bloodsucker, and these things, they're, I don't know, they're not really usable, really. I mean, they are, but they're just dumb. I'm right in front of him. He hasn't aggroed onto me yet. Oh, there he goes. You can see it takes quite a bit of ammo to take one of those guys out. So let's go ahead and try that again. New mag. And spawn another one. I forgot to tell you that those bloodsuckers are really loud, but they are essentially tanks, so they're going to be really tough to kill. Let's get another one in here, and just yeah, see, this is what I mean. They're dumb. They're just running the other way. Gonna wait for them to actually. Good God, they're loud. You can see they take quite a bit to actually take out. Now we're going to do it one last time, hopefully before this storm hits. We're going to use the Cheytac this time. Now it's not going to one-shot them, but you'll get to see kind of how strong they are, if I can get them to aggro on me. Okay. One. Two. Three. Four. Sometimes it takes 5, but you know, you see it takes quite a lot less with this than it does the AK, and you saw how much we had to dump AK ammo we had to dump into this thing to kill this guy. But yeah, so that's some best ballistic testing I can come up with doing, and you can see I've left quite a mess here. So alright, on to the next part. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to fire this thing off as quickly as we can. We're not going to be aiming at anything in particular. This is just to get an idea of how quickly we can actually fire. Now obviously in a real life situation we would actually be taking our time to aim and hit our actual target, because this is going to be a real long range weapon. So we're just going to see how quickly we can do this, both with, and it's just for sound wise too, so we can hear it with and without the suppressor. So alright, here we go. First set will be with suppressor. Okay, and we are out. So swap mags. And I'm going to take our suppressor off this time and see how loud this thing will actually be. Okay, and we're empty. And as you can see, this is not a... nobody's going to be doing any Modern Warfare 2 360 no scope across the map no scope crap with this. This is going to be an actual real sniper rifle. We're not going to be hitting no scopes or any of that stupid stuff with this. This is going to be a little more realistic. Not quite a real gun, but a little more realistic as far as what an actual sniper would be like. Okay, so in the files for this gun, there are two different scopes. There's a zero optic and a normal optic. I recommend using the zero optic because the normal optic won't actually allow you to change your zero from zero, and you're never going to actually hit anything. Also, this gun is extremely accurate. You can hit shots up to 1,000 yards all day long without blinking if you know how to properly zero it, and you have a built-in zero function within the gun, so you can zero up to 1,200 yards with the scope without having to actually use a rangefinder, which is really handy. So it's a little complicated, but I'm going to show you how this works. So first thing you need to understand is with this scope you have 3 levels of zoom. You have your standard zoom, which is a 1-time zoom. You have another zoom after that, which is a 1.5, and then you have a 2-time zoom. So, well, we'll get into the conversions shortly, but we're going to start off with the standard zoom. So looking through the scope right here, this is going to be our standard zoom. And if you look, you have different mil dots, and I'll explain those shortly. But first thing to notice is this bar right here should be the height of a human body, or zombie body, whichever, at 200 meters. So if you're going to basically measure from your center point. Well, this is a base point, so if your body, the body you're trying to shoot measures this high, it's 200 meters away. But in order to get our zero for shots outside of 200 meters, we need to measure from the center of the crosshairs, and you can measure either up or down. I prefer, myself, I go down, just, I don't know, it's what I've started with, it's easier for me. Also remember, from here to here is also 200 meters, same as this one. So this dot here, that's going to be 300. This dot here, next one up, that's 400. Next dot up, 500. Next dot up will be 600 meters or yards. I don't remember what it actually says in game. I'll have to look next time I'm in, but in any case, we're just going to call it meters. So that being said, what that means is if you put the scope in and you measure from the top of the head here at the crosshair, and the feet are here, that's a 300 meter shot on standard zoom. And same 400 meters, 500 meters, 600 meters. So that being said, don't ever use your medium level of zoom for zeroing. I mean, you can do it. It's just going to be math that's more complicated in a quick situation. It's just much easier to get your zero in either your standard zoom or your 2-time zoom, because to get your 2-time zoom, all you have to do is say the head is here and here, and the conversions are over here. Let's say that you measure your body from the crosshair to here. So it will be normally a 300 meter shot in your standard zoom, but since it's 2-time, you double that, so it's a 600 meter. Same with this one, would be 800. This one will be 1,000, and this one will be 1,200 meters. Now you can hit 1,000-yard shots all day long as you're properly zeroed with this. 1,200 meters with the scope, the body gets a little tiny, so as long as you can put the crosshair on the body, you'll hit it. Outside of 1,200 meters, you're going to need a rangefinder just to range in, but you're really not going to be taking shots outside of 1,200 meters. 1,200 meters is really a stretch anyway. So for basic purposes, you don't even need to carry a rangefinder, and if you know how to use the mil dots here, you can properly range in your target without having to carry a rangefinder and just basically scope in on it and measure it. So again, 200 meters, 200 meters under standard zoom. This 300, 400, 500, 600, and then you double those for your 2x zoom. Okay, now that we've seen how the scope works in theory, it's time to try it in practice and take some long-range shots here and see how well we can do. So we're going to be shooting at some zombies here. And just again, remember, this is going to be 1 power zoom, 2 power, 3 power. So that's how we're going to take our measurements. I'm going to go off of we'll start off by the 1 power. So zombie is about, it's going to be looks like the first middle dot from the crosshair. So that's going to put it at a 600-yard shot. And if we zoom in, we're now at the first from the block, which again is going to be double 300, so 600. So what we're going to do, set our 0 to 600 and see if we can hit some of these. There we go. And we're getting a blizzard here. Again, and there is a bit of a delay because I mean we are quite a ways away, but you're going to see like we'll be hitting 600-yard shots all day long. Let's see if we can line a couple up, maybe. See? Bang, both of them. Nice. Yeah, it's 2 for 1. And again, I mean, it kind of just shows the ballistic power of this gun, too. This thing's no slouch. It's definitely a monster. 3 with 1. Weird little reload animation there. I guess we could try it without the scope, too, or without the suppressor. Try that. It's gonna be loud, but let's see. So 600, yeah. I wonder if they're gonna actually aggro to me. I don't know how the aggro distance is, but I would imagine. I'm sure they heard that. Hit him? I must have hit him because he ain't there no more. And we're out. Alright, so now we're on the hill opposite of Candy Cane. We're overlooking Military, and we're going to go for some even longer shots. This should exceed our 600-yard shot, or meters, I guess it's meters, 600-meter shot from our previous one, so okay, yeah, definitely. So this might actually be a little difficult to hit some of these shots, but let's see. So it's 1 power, 2 power. So he's gonna be let's see. We're gonna, I guess. I think that's, yeah, that's going to be about 1,000 yards right there. So let's zero in for 1,000, and this is going to be a difficult shot, so let's see. Gotta get him when they're standing still. There we go, we hit him. That's a miss. I think, yep. And you can see what I mean, like anything farther than 1,000, 1,200 yards is really just going to be not feasible because your scope isn't even going to be able, you're not even going to be able to scope in on them at that range, really. So, because you got to think another 200 yards on top of this. I mean, they're going to be, that was right over her shoulder. That was a miss right over her shoulder. Where'd they go? Alright, let's see here. Somewhat sway. These are hard shots, but pretty much no other gun in the game is going to be able to hit these shots. Well, that's DayZ for you. It hit, but it launched bodies. I'm getting a lot of weapon sway right now. What the? Let's just bring him out to the air. I'm gonna shoot. What is going on over there? I'm gonna shoot in front of this building so I can get him to come here from there. Actually, I'm gonna reload my mag too. Okay. See if we can hit this guy. Got him. That was a miss. That's a hit. That should be a double, yep. Got him. Oh, what? I don't know how they got up on top of the roof, but okay. Got him. That's a miss. Alright, last one. Got him. Alright, so yeah, that's the intervention. And you can pretty much see this thing is a ballistics monster. Pretty much has the ability to one-shot basically anything in the game. Extreme ranges. And then the scope is also very, very good for getting your zero if you know how to use it. And it's also extremely accurate and basically deadly at extreme long ranges. So there's a lot of ways you could use this. It does have its advantages and disadvantages, but like I said earlier, I think its advantages absolutely 100% outweigh the disadvantages. So yeah, all right, well, that's all I got, and thanks for watching, and as always, good luck out there, survivors.